If you like this video, make sure to visit our Vimeo page and follow us to get the latest update.
Okay, let us start with the today's topic. Let me today continue the class with your credentials.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and then later I will disconnect. I have my own credentials. I don't need to use your credentials, but I just want to see whether HANA Studio and everything is working for you.
Yeah. Okay, not a problem.
Okay. So today we will continue again with the data provisioning. We were facing some issue with the short dump of our extractors. Somehow I could not get a chance to talk to them, talk to the vendor. Maybe after the class today, I will talk to him and try to show the issue what we are facing. Let's keep the finger crossed and see how it will work today. Otherwise, we have to continue with something else. But anyways, the agenda for today is to continue again on data provisioning related topics. We'll go through the details now. We have learned on a high level about LO cockpit extraction, and what I want to cover today was this one. Before I proceed, there is a disclaimer. Kindly go through it. Okay, so these are the three things I want to cover today. These are the three different types of extractions mechanism, which is LO cockpit extraction, generic extraction, and ODP extraction. This is something I want to cover in detail today. Okay, let us go through first some of the theoretical concepts which we covered last week, and I have also captured few of the slides for you guys might be familiar, but for James and Ken, it would be helpful. James, you have any idea whether Ken would be joining today or no?
He's already in the class.
Oh, is it? Okay, I didn't. So maybe he's joined late. I did not see it. Hi, Ken.
Hi, hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. Oh, which is good. I did not see. I thought you were still away. Didn't join it.
What?
Okay. No, I did not notice that you have joined the session today.
Yeah, the network sometimes.
Okay.
But
So
I'm here.
okay, let us learn about the different types of extractors today. In our previous version of BW, we used to have extractors of two different types, mainly divided into two categories. I'm pretty sure Rupa and Rohit might have already learned a lot about these extractors, but for you folks, I just wanted to capture something which is still relevant if you work on a previous version of BW. Okay, so when we divide the extractors into types, they can be broadly categorized into two different types: application specific and cross application specific. When we talk about application specific extractors, they are focused or targeted for a specific type of application. Within application specific extractors, there are again two different types: BW content extractor and customer generated extractors. So BW content extractors are those which are delivered by SAP. SAP has written lots of extractors for us. We just need to activate them and use it. Now you might be wondering, I have been using this word extractors a lot. What does the word extractor mean in layman terms? What exactly it does? Can you tell me, like James or can anyone of you can tell me what?
To extract is to draw from one point to another. It could be a device or a database from one location to another location. Basically, that's what I mean.
Correct. That is right. But in more technical terms, I could say that it is a kind of program which has got some sort of extract structure which can be used to replicate into BW. So what we do is we are saying that, okay, my extractor is nothing but a set of fields and tables which I can extract from a particular application or particular software into BW. Now, mostly whatever we are seeing here is mostly relevant for SAP systems. So for majority of the SAP systems, SAP has written lots of extractors for us to make our life easy. So what SAP did is SAP did a lot of research and study on common business processes across the globe. And they came to a conclusion that, okay, within each application, there are a set of standard fields which are very widely used for reporting. So in each of the applications, SAP has identified, a set of extractors saying that, okay, if you want to extract finance data, here is the list of finance extractors. If you want to extract procurement data, here is the list of procurement extractors. And they, by default, come in the inactive mode. We need to activate them. Okay. Just I want to switch it before I proceed further with my slide so that you understand what I am referring to. I will switch the screen back to SAP screen. So this is our S/4HANA system. If you go to RSA5T code, we have seen this screen before as well. Here you will get list of all the SAP delivered extractors. Okay. For instance, if you expand SAP R3 hierarchy node, you see that lots of subnodes are there within the hierarchy. So under this hierarchy, you can see that all the extractors for each of the application is listed here. So if you want to see finance related extractor, it is FI. If you want to see accounting general, AC. Okay, you can see the description as well here. If you want to see material management here, personal administration is nothing but HR data, plant maintenance is here. So these are the various modules or the business applications within SAP, and you need to identify the extractor which you want to extract. Say within finance, if you expand it, there are again submodules. Say most commonly used is the GL extractors. Okay, if you expand the GL area, so within GL we have so many extractors. So this is very commonly used, GL10 and GL14. These two are very commonly used extractors. So what exactly is this extractor? If you double click it, you would see that this extractor is nothing but is also called as data source. In our BW terminology, it is also called as a data source. It has got an extract structure, and also it has got a list of fields. Whatever fields are there in this particular extract structure, we can see it here. If you double click on the extract structure, you will see that, okay, here is the structure, and these many fields this particular structure is bringing. 241 fields it is bringing from various tables. So it's very complicated. We don't know exactly. It doesn't say which table it refers to, but with experience, you will come to know that, okay, some of the fields are from so and so table. Okay. Now in finance, after the S4 HANA was introduced, majority of the stuff comes from AC DOCA table. That is the universal journal table. It has replaced lots of tables. So you would see that majority of the fields might populate from only single table, which is AC DOCA table. Okay. So here what I was referring to was the extract structure. Okay. Let me switch back to the presentation. So likewise, if you see here, SAP has introduced for our ease, for our assistance, SAP has provided us with lots of standard extractors for us. We just need to select any one of them and activate it and use it. That's it. It makes our life easy. Okay. So here is the list of all the BW content extractors which we see in the screen. Okay. Likewise, if you feel that, okay, for a particular application, your extractor, the extractor which is delivered by SAP is not enough for you to extract the fields, then you can create your own custom extractors for a specific application. And the different types of custom extractors which were application specific are LIS, Logistics Information System, it is obsolete, FISL, Finance and Special Ledger, and Controlling and Profitability Analysis. So these are the extractors which we used to use a lot in past, but now we don't need it. There are much better standard extractors available. We can just simply enhance them with baddies, using baddies, and bring the fields which are not available with those standard extractors. But it is something which we used to use in past. So there are application specific extractors and cross application. Now in the cross application specific extractor, there is a commonly used method of data extraction. It is called as generic extractors, which means that we create the structure right from scratch. Nothing is available. If no fields are available for you, then we create our own extractor, which can bring data from one table, or it can bring data from multiple tables. It can bring data from one application or multiple applications. Hence, it is also called as cross application specific extractor. Okay. It doesn't necessarily mean that always the extractor has to populate cross application data. You can bring only one application data or even one table data into this particular generic extractor. So we are creating our own custom extractors using generic extraction method. The T code to use this is RSO2. So we will learn this today, how to create a generic extractor. We will also learn how to activate the Yellow Cockpit extractor. Apart from doing both the things, we will try to replicate and create it in BW, the underlying flow for that. But if there are some issues, at least we will try to complete these two things today, which is how to activate the Yellow Cockpit extractor and how to create a generic extractor today. This is what we will aim to complete. Okay. And I will talk about all the various types of options we have within generic extractor in the session after some time. Okay. So this was an old technology, logistics information system. I used to use it in the olden days when Yellow Cockpit was not that popular. We didn't have that many extractors using Yellow Cockpit, and this method was not that user friendly. It was having lots of challenges, so it's obsolete. It has become almost obsolete. Nobody uses this LIS data extraction method anymore. Yellow Cockpit is something which we will use it. We have to still activate our data sources, but the data sources have changed now. our data sources are not reading just the table data. All the data sources in BW for HANA read the CDS view data. So we will talk about ODB extractors, but let's talk about logistics cockpit extraction. LO cockpit is an application component of SAP R3 that collects the transaction data for logistics. Typically, LO cockpit extraction is meant to extract the logistics related data. Now, if you want to identify or assess what are the types of data available in ERP system, we can say that the data which is available in the ERP system can be broadly classified into 3 subject areas. One is finance data, the second one is logistics data, and the third one is HR data. Okay, so we can broadly classify all our ERP objects into 3 different segments. I repeat, finance, logistics, and human resources. We have a bit of easier way to extract data from finance module and HR module, human resources module. The way to extract data from these 2 modules, we can say that, okay, there is a standard extraction mechanism. Whereas if we have to extract data from logistics cockpit, there are some additional steps we need to perform on top of the steps we used to perform for FI and HR data. Okay, we will try to do all 3 together. First, we will try to do the standard extraction using HR or FI. Second, we will try to activate the logistics cockpit extractors. Third, we will also try to create a generic extractor. So these 3 things we will try to do it. And if possible, and if time permits, we will also export or extract this into BW for HANA. But there are some challenges in the system at the moment. I'm not sure whether we'll be able to do it or not, that particular activity. Again, as I said, COPA was the previously used method to extract the controlling data in finance space. So it used to be called as controlling and profitability analysis. Basically, the concept of fact table and dimension table came from the COPA method of SAP R3. COPA is also possible to do the extraction within SAP S4, SAP R3 itself. So it's a very old way of identifying and extracting and reporting on the controlling data related to finance. So within finance, we used to have finance and controlling. Now it has been simplified again. We don't have to worry much about controlling because there are lots of changes in the finance module now. Again, special purpose ledger, another way of doing the extraction. These are the few of the previous objects along with the current objects we used to have in the flow in BW. Source system. Okay, this is very common. Can you tell me what is a source system? Example. Anyone?
It's where we are drawing the data from.
You are right. Exactly right. So in our case, we are trying to pull data from S4HANA. S4HANA is a source system. In some scenarios, we also read other SAP systems as well. SAP has got not only S4HANA, we have seen in past, it has got Ariba, it has got SuccessFactors, it has got Concur, it has got Fieldglass, it has got C4C, Cloud for Computing. Previously, it was CRM. Okay, plenty of systems there, SRM. Okay, now it is changed to Ariba now. So there are plenty of systems which SAP had on top of SAP ECC. Then there are industry-specific systems as well. So if we have to extract data from any of the source system, any of those systems, that is nothing but those are source systems. Now, whatever example I gave just now are SAP specific. It doesn't necessarily mean that you can only extract data from SAP systems. You can extract data from any system, literally any system, whether it is big data system or flat file system or non-SAP system, Oracle, SQL databases, name any, we can extract from anywhere into BW. Okay. Any system from where we extract the data is a source system. What's an extract structure? Extract structure is something we identify within the source system to extract the data for into BW. It's nothing but, I would say, collection of fields which needed to be populated into BW. That's extract structure. So within the source system, we identify, okay, here is my list of 10 fields which I need to bring into BW. That is extract structure. Once we identify the extract structure, we need to replicate that into BW. That is nothing but your transfer structure. We transfer those fields in the BW system. Once we activate the data source, we right click the BW source system within the BW system and replicate. Once we replicate, the structure gets transferred from source system to BW system. The structure is same, transfer structure is same in both the system. So which means that, okay, we have set of fields which we need from BW, which we need into BW from your source system. Those set of fields which we identified initially are extract structure. Once we want to transfer into BW, they become the transfer structure fields. And that transfer structure needs to be replicated within the BW system. Then we used to have PSA, communication transfer structure update rules, ODS InfoCube. These are the old technology. I don't want to talk about it at the moment. Okay. I gave this example the other day. So this is the transfer structure through which the data gets transported from source system into target system. Previously, there used to be TRFC and ALE. Now the way of data extraction is different. It is ODP, operational data provisioning method, to extract data from S/4HANA into BW. Okay, this was the structure we used to follow, data flow structure in 3.x in BW. It's a very old world, around 15 years ago, 10, 12, 13 years ago. I'm not sure how many customers are still on 3.1 or 3.x system of SAP. But I think if you want to migrate to BW for HANA from 3.x, it is not feasible. You cannot migrate directly. You need to first migrate to 7.0 and then from there into BW for HANA. Okay, so it's a long journey for someone who is still onto this particular version of BW. They need to do a lot of stuff. It's better for them to just take a brand new system and create the objects from scratch. It would be much easier. Now, I want you to tell me, it's like a fill in the blank, which would be what? Dash defines the source system for data to be extracted in SAP BW. What could be the first one? I think maybe it would be more relevant for Rupa and Rohit to answer this. Rupa, what do you think?
Data source.
Data source. Okay. Rohit, do you agree with her? Okay. Next one. Dash program that fills the extract structure of a data source with data from source system.
Data extracted.
You mean
Sorry, I cut you off. Yes, James.
I wanted to follow the part. You are trying to match them with the definitions.
Yes.
Okay.
Dash used to stage the retrieve data temporary in the source
Yeah,
system.
even the answers are visible in the next slide, I guess.
Oh, can you see it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, on the right hand side.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't see that. Okay, I thought it is
Oh,
the
yeah.
notes are not
Yes,
visible.
right there.
But
Oh,
I
very clever.
answered first. The first one I answered, later I saw, okay.
Also, when Rupa said, then I came to know.
Okay, I didn't realize it. Okay, I didn't realize that. But I'm not seeing that screen. I have two screens and I'm not seeing that. How do I hide that? Anyways, so you're very clever. So these are the definitions. How we used to do is like this, from various sources like SAP, relational, flat file, web, we used to extract data using a data source into BW. And there are various ways which we used to use to extract it. It has changed now. We will see now in the future slides what has changed and how this is getting into BW now. So the data extraction is also called as data provisioning. It is also referred to as data acquisition. It is known by various names, but end of the day, we are referring to only one task, which is extraction of data from source to target. Typically, our source could be anything, but target is our BW for HANA system. Again, it's too much detail. I don't want to get into that nitty-gritties of this theoretical concepts. See, these are the different systems which I was talking about. Okay, we typically extract finance, logistics, and HR data from S4. Then employee self-service. APO is another system. I have worked on APO, advanced planning and optimizer. It is mainly used for demand planning. Sorry.
No, Ian. I was like, I worked on APO as a source system, so I was just about to tell this. Nothing else.
Okay. Even I also got a chance to work a lot on the APO system as a source system. We used to do the demand planning for one of the client which was into FMCG. Again, it was a multinational client, primarily US based company, but having operations across 170, 180 countries across the globe. And in that, I was part of a global implementation team. We were close to 80 BW resources on one project, 80 resources. That was, I think, one of the biggest team I've ever worked on. And the team was scattered across all the, I would say, maybe like 10, 12, 15 countries across the globe. And we had a solution which was created by some other company, and we rolled it out into this particular client. And the solution was to have remote cubes. It was mainly for virtual data extraction. And in the solution, we had 1,000 cubes, close to 1,000, that is 1,000 cubes, 1,000 cubes were there in the complete solution, remote cubes. It was very complex. So just give me 1 second. Yeah, so these are the different systems which we can have in our landscape. Okay. It is mainly for your reference. You don't have to worry or break your head now. Let's talk about more relevant stuff now. Okay. I just kept it. This is how we used to do in the old world. On BW for HANA, things have changed. Okay. So this was the structure, data flow structure in 3.x, changed to this one, and there is a different one now. We don't have PSA anymore. We have source system, we have transformation and data target. That's it. Directly DTP. Okay. No PSA anymore. Let us learn about Hello Cockpit extraction. This is still relevant and it is still important for us. And both Rohit and Rupa, you can also feel free to share your thoughts or points if you have any. Happy for you to pitch in any time. Okay. There are steps also I have written here for you. Okay. Okay. I think this is from the previous batch. So the slide which I've prepared for the previous batch after the class was there, I captured the steps for the students. Okay. Let us look into one type of extraction. I think before Hello Cockpit, the easier way would be the standard extractor. Let us activate a standard extractor, then we go for Hello Cockpit, and then we go for generic extractor. Then we go for BW for HANA based extractors. This is our latest one. Okay, so the sequence we will follow now is first we will go through the any of the F5 standard extractors. Second, we will try to learn about Hello Cockpit extractors. Third, we will learn about generic extractors. I think if we can cover these three today, that would be good. Okay. So let us quickly jump into the system, and we will learn about any of the standard extractors. And standard extractors, we can go for FI or even we can go for HR data sources as well. Okay. Before I jump into actual topic of extractors, can you tell me what are the different types of data we have? Within the data set, data can be classified broadly into two types: transaction data and James master data. Okay. Then within master data, we do have three different types of master data set: attribute, text, and hierarchies. Now, before I proceed further, can you tell me quickly the difference between master data and transaction data? James or Ken, anyone?
The master data is the I would say is the original data that you are everything is based off from. Then the transaction data is where it's basically conducting the business. I don't know how to put in the technical.
No, okay.
form.
Can you give me an example? If you go to a bank with your bank
Yeah.
account, can you give me an example? What is the master data and what is the transaction data if you go to a bank?
Yeah. So the transaction data, you know, the bank, they don't use your name to identify you. They use your bank ID and the numbers to identify you. Yeah. So any information that based off from in a bank, like your amount, your name and everything, they give you ID just to locate you. So I would say that is the transaction data, but the master data is the one that everything is stored off from, like, you know, other the bank customers, they have a customer ID. So that will be the original data that everybody, they will give you a numbers, but not the name. So that is what I can say about that, unless maybe I'm missing something. I actually can record the terms to use so that I can really explain according to the terms. But that is how I understand.
That is fine. Okay, let me put the same thing into more perspective. Say for the customer, okay. If you're talking about the customer data, customer name is your master data. Customer age is your master data. Customer date of birth is your master data. Customer address is the master data. Okay. Customer, what else? Okay. Email address is the master data. Customer phone number is the master data.
Quick question. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, please.
You're saying the master data, like you added the email to it. But with the master data, it's something that pretty much doesn't change.
You are right.
Or am I?
You are right. Spot on. Correct. So master data usually doesn't change. It remains the same. Now, if you talk about the same example, if you talk about material, the attributes of material here are there are plenty of materials. Okay, material attributes. It's a material name, material category, color, size, shape, material group, to which group it belongs to, and so on. Maybe there are like more than 100, 150 characteristics of material are there. It's one of the biggest master data in SAP system. So it's a material master. So all these things are called as attributes of the master data. So master data is again classified into 3 different categories. So if you talk about data, we broadly classify data into 2 types. One is transaction data, second one is a master data. Transaction data for a bank account is something like this. For a customer, you have a customer ID, you have transaction type. What would be the transaction type? Whether it is a debit amount, whether the transaction is a debit transaction or credit transaction, and amount. And you may also have to whom you have given, okay, receiver, okay, receiver details. This is what is your typical bank transaction is all about. And obviously, the most important thing we are missing is the transaction date. Okay, so this is transaction date. This is what we typically have in a transaction data. Likewise, in master data, we may have customer details, material details, product details, vendor details, equipment details, plant details. So all these are the different types of master data objects. Example are customer, product, material, vendor, plant, equipment, GL account, cost center, profit center, what else? Person in HR, okay, employee. So all these are the different master data objects available in SAP system. We use it a lot, okay. Now, for each of the master data object, the data is further classified into three types: attributes, text, and hierarchies. So we do have attributes data, which are the attributes of a master data object. Likewise, we do have textual data, which are like, okay, what is the description? It's a short description, medium description, long description. So text is nothing but the data, master data details, descriptive data, okay, the description of the master data. So there are three different descriptions: short, medium, and long. Okay. The other thing is this description can also be captured in 20 different languages. So it is multilinguistic. It supports multi languages. So it's a multi. So this data, if you want, I work with some Chinese clients wherein they maintain the complete description of the master data in the Chinese language. Okay, so I have seen that, and also I believe one of the French client, they had the data captured in the French language. So you can see that the data can be captured using the textual attributes of the, using the textual type of the master data set. You can maintain the description in any language. Likewise, the data sometimes could be in a hierarchy format. Hierarchy format is like a tree structure. Okay, you navigate from top to bottom. That's a hierarchy, and not all the objects are of this type, hierarchy type. Only few master data objects supports hierarchy. So there is a org structure hierarchy. There is a cost center hierarchy, very commonly used. There is a plant hierarchy, equipment hierarchy, etc. So there are hierarchies of the objects as well. So now what SAP did is SAP has given us, it was kind enough to give us all the types of data sources or extractors for us. We do have standard extractors for transaction data. We do have standard extractors for master data of type attribute, text, and hierarchy. So when we see the RSA5, you would notice that we have actually 4 different types of extractors available for us to be extracted into BW. We mostly work on transaction data because transaction data extractors are plenty in the system, whereas you also have master data extractors of type attributes, text, and hierarchy. Okay, we will try to activate all of them and see how it looks like. In that way, you would know that, okay, this is how my data would look like. Let us go to the system and see what we need to do. Okay, for instance, assume that you are working in the SAP system and you are the first person to work on a brand new system. What you need to do is assume that, okay, am I going fast? Is it clear now?
Yeah. So I wanted to go over a little text and the hierarchy. Anyway, we are going to see it on the studio, right? SAP studio.
Yes. I will show you on the screen how the hierarchy would look like. We will see all the 4 different types of data set. Okay. We will try to activate all one by one and see how the data would look like for each one of them.
Okay.
Okay. So this is my initial screen. Assume that you are working in SAP and you are the first time, you are the first person who would be using this, who is going to use this system. So if you want to activate something or any data source, typically you go to RSA5. But if it is a brand new system, nobody has used it before, if you type RSA5, this screen will not come like this. This screen will not come. What you have to do is you have to transfer the application component hierarchy. So first thing first, for the first time when you work, you type the T code RSA9. This is only one time needed. I have told about this in the previous class as well. It is a repetition just to ensure that, just to make you, just for your revision so that you remember it. Okay. So it is only one time needed. If you are the person who is going to use this system for the first time, then you need to start with RSA9. And it will say that, do you want to transfer the application component hierarchy? You have to say yes. Okay. Now, you will see a message, application component hierarchy was applied. I have repeated the same thing which I spoke in the previous class. Now, all our extractors are available in RSA5. RSA5 is a T code. You can see this list of extractors or anything related to extractors using another T code as well. LBWE as sorry, not LBW, SBIW, sorry. So you can go to T code SBIW and perform all your activities related to extraction. This is like a main T code to perform all the extraction related activities in BW system. Okay, from one screen you can navigate to different sub screens. Okay. So here I went back to the screen. F3 is like to go back, and I see that, okay, is it visible now?
Yes.
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 Okay. So where is the option to change the theme?
It's in the GUI. Not here. The main screen where we log in into the system.
Is this the one?
No, this one. The back screen. In the DI. Yeah, this one. The three line you can see top left. Yeah, and in that options.
Options. Yeah.
Then go to themes. Visual design. I guess. Visual design. First option. Theme settings. Yeah. First select them. Change it to classic theme.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So This is more comfortable actually. This is what we are used to it. We can see which system we are into it. Okay. So for James and Ken, this is the old theme we used to use in GUI, but now we got another way of doing it. But see, in this, we can see all the options like, okay, what is the current time, response time of the screen to open this particular window, who is the current user, username, what is the client. In SAP system, we can have up to 999 clients. Okay, client is again like a logical system. And which system are we in? This is S4H is nothing but the system ID, S4 HANA, and 400 is the client. Okay, so it talks about all the details here. We can from here we can see all the details. Okay, secure network is enabled, disabled, and here we have other options as well. Okay. Okay. Let us talk about standard extractors. Okay. As I was saying, there are multiple screens. LBWE. From here we can. Sorry, I don't know why I keep on. SBIW. This is the T code you need to remember. Okay. From SBIW, you can jump into all the other T codes related to data extraction. This is like a master T code for extraction related activities. So what you can do is, if you can remember a few T codes, additional T codes, that is fine. If not, at least remember one T code, SBIW. If you want to see which T code you are on, you can see here as well. And if you want, rather than showing the system name, you can also show the T code name as well by default. So by seeing here, we identify that we are into SBIW T code. T code is transaction code, is nothing but like a shortcut to jump to a particular screen within SAP application. Okay. And here is the command prompt. Here we type all the commands or the T codes which we want to jump into. So if you want to go to previous T code, again here previous page. If you want to go further, up is up, or the there is a like history button. From history you can pick up which T code you want to go back again. So I want to use SBI T code, SBIW. From here I want to perform all my operations or activities related to data extraction. I do have an option for transfer business content data sources. Okay, we do have general settings. Okay. Okay, the T code is like this: transfer business content data sources. Okay. If you see here, the T code is RSA5. This is primary T code we use to pick and activate the data sources. As I said, SAP has given us list of hundreds of data sources. They are by default in inactive mode. If we want to use them, we have to activate them. Okay, so it is something like, you know, SAP is a very vast software. For all the customers, all the operations or all the options might not be needed. For instance, even in MS Word, we have been using Word for 20 years, 25 years, but we don't use all the options which are available in the MS Word. We might use only few limited 100, 200, 300 options, menu options, which are useful to us. Rest all, we don't even look into it. Likewise, SAP has got hundreds and thousands of different options for different types of business users or customers. Imagine SAP has got like more than 60, 70,000 customers across the globe. Almost like Fortune 2000, Fortune 5000 customers are Fortune 5000 companies. Maybe 80% of the companies would be using SAP. Imagine the different areas it would cover. So it's a very, very vast software. What we do is, within this software, we identify what we need. We don't have to activate everything. We are tailor-making our tailor-making our features which we need to activate. Okay, what we do typically is, within this data source tree, this is like a hierarchy. Okay, we activate SAP R3, and within SAP R3 we have various sub modules. For instance, FI is the easiest one. I pick FI and say general ledger, and as I was saying, GL10, GL14, these are very widely used. I need to activate it. By default, they are in inactive mode. I select it, and if I have to activate it, this is very sensitive now. I have to be very careful. So I just select something here in FI general ledger. And then I have to activate data source. So if I have to activate, you can see that, okay, I can activate like this. But sometimes you might accidentally, you might inadvertently, you might select something else. So better set selection on this one. I put a set section on this one. Now I know that, okay, I have only one data source visible, and I'm going to activate the same data source. Now, whatever data sources are there, or whatever objects we activate or create some new objects in the system, they are meant to be transported if they are meant for a specific person. If they are meant for a specific purpose, then they need to be transported from one system in the landscape to another system. If you can recall the initial classes, I have told that typically the landscape of SAP is a 3-system landscape. We have development, we have quality, and production. All our customization tasks, all our object creation tasks, we do it in the development server. Why we do it in development server is because we don't want to touch the live system, which is a production system. We don't want to disturb any functionality in the live system, because sometimes if we directly work in the live system, and if our new code goes and damages the live system, then the system, the business operations would get hampered. Hence, we do all our activities in the development system. So now, whatever we create in the development system, all our objects needs to be captured into a transport request. Transport request is nothing but like we are identifying set of objects which we want to copy from one system to another system. I will talk about the transports at a later stage. Let's talk about this particular task. For the time being, try to remember that we need to assign all our objects to a package and then to a transport request. So this is the request number. We will see about how to see the request number in a later class. But at the moment, just try to understand that whatever we activate, it gets assigned to a request. Either it goes to a package or it goes to a local object. Local objects do not get transported. Okay. So now we have captured this object, we have activated and captured into a transport request. Likewise, if you want to activate another object, you go back and go to RSA5. Within FI, we have master data objects. Okay. Most commonly used is company code, GL account, profit center. These are very widely used master data objects. Let's try to activate company code. We have activated. Okay, how do we know that whether our objects are getting activated or not? I am saying we are activated, they are activated, but how do I know that whatever I am saying is right? Though it says that it is action executed, but if I have to verify where exactly this gets activated, I would not know it. Okay. In order to know how your objects are getting activated, you have to go to another screen. Here we have something called as post-processing of data sources, which is nothing but RSA 6. So you need to go to RSA6 code or here to check and validate whether your objects are activated or not. Whatever objects are activated, they would be displayed here. The standard content objects, complete list of objects is available in RSA5 here, whereas the only activated objects are available in RSA6. This is the screen, RSA6 to see all the active objects. I expand RSA3, SAP R3, go to finance. Within finance, I go for GL. And I have seen that, okay, the 10 is active. It has been activated, hence it is available in RSA6. Likewise, I will go for master data object. I said I have done company code. Okay, so here the company code attributes and text are available in the active mode. So all these objects are available in the active mode. Let us try to see if there is any data for these objects. To check the data set for all those data sources or extractors, there is a T code here. Okay, let us see the display data source. So you want to see the data source company code text. So these are the fields which are coming from the company code data source. Okay, it is captured in the $TMP, means that it cannot be transported. You have to change it if you want to transport it into a different package. Okay. It's to see whether this can be whether this particular data source, this is a master data source of type attribute. And how do we know it's attribute? Because it would be suffixed with ATTR. So we know that, okay, it's an attribute data source. If it is text, it would be suffixed with TEXT, and for hierarchy, HIER. So with the last name, you can identify the type of with what type of data this particular extractor is bringing, whether it is of attribute, text, or hierarchy. And to see the data, this is the last screen in SAP source system to validate whether the data is available for this particular data source or not. To check it, we type SAP, we type RSA3, and here is the extraction. Okay, F8. I don't know why it is giving some sort of problem. I need to sort it out with the basis guy about this particular problem. But let us try to look for some other data sources. Say something in plant maintenance module. Okay. These are very widely used, very commonly used extractors for plant maintenance module. Notification, activity, item, cost. So these are very commonly used extractors. Okay, let us identify one extractor and see. We will activate it. Okay. It says action executed. So I'm directly going to the screen RSS6, and suppose I don't know the hierarchy, I don't know how to search it. So I just select something and expand the nodes. Okay, and then I click on the search. PM is usually 2LI is 17. And I want to go for activity. See, it is active, already active, and it is available in RSS 6. Now this data source, which is active, I would like to see if there is any corresponding data for this data source. Now the plant maintenance module is part of Yellow Cockpit data source. I doubt that unless we fill the setup table, there would be data there. But at least I want to see how the extract checker is behaving. If the setup tables are not filled, we would get at least 0 records. There is some error again with the extractor. I don't know what's the issue. And to see all the dumps, there is a T code here, ST22. From here, you can trace how many times the system threw the dumps. Okay. So 2nd October, it is today. See how many times the system is throwing an error. These many times we face the issue. I think I will look into it with the basis guy, and then we will see tomorrow, because there is no point we just continue the class without seeing the data. Okay. So I think we'll stop the class today and continue with our extraction topic tomorrow.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to visit our Vimeo page and follow for more upcoming videos.